Right, here we are again. And this time I am with Ollie Henderson, author of Work-Life Flywheel, Harness the Work Revolution and Reimagine Your Career Without Fear. Ollie, before I ask you about this, let me just give a quick intro to people who maybe missed the first one, don't know what we're doing. I'm Alison Jones, I'm the Director of Practical Inspiration Publishing, and Practical Inspiration Publishing had an amazing 18 titles shortlisted in the Business Book Awards 2024. So I'm just taking the opportunity to chat to each of the authors of those books individually and find out a little bit more about them. It's worth pointing out as well that if you like the sound of this, you will. And all the ones that we are talking to, all the shortlisted titles, we've put them on offer at 99 on the Kindle store just for the summer so that you can be the judge ahead of the actual judge's decision in September. So all that preamble aside, first of all, welcome, Ollie. Great to have you here. Tell us why you wrote this book.
Well, I mean, it's a personal story as much as a story about a moment in time, really. I mean, I left my last company, a company I've been running for 10 years, in January 2020, not really knowing what I was going to do next with my life, let alone my work. And that's when I started writing. I'd never really written before that, apart from the odd email. And I started exploring my work and my life and that relationship. And I'm not sure if you remember, but a couple of months later, many other people were examining their work and life. The world had kind of flipped upside down. It was definitely a timing thing that kind of kept me going, because I started writing a newsletter called Future Work Life that got loads of people signing up really quickly, kind of interested. I was just been really kind of, starting from a position of a beginner's mind, really. What is going on in the world? What can I do about this? How can we think about technology and how that's changing our relationship with work? And I just started writing about that. I started a podcast, and it was kind of a snowball thing, really. I had just enough encouragement from the people who were reading what I was doing and listening to what I was doing. I felt like I needed to continue speaking and writing about it, and that led to me doing your book proposal challenge, after another previous winner of that, Kath Bishop, recommended it to me. She'd been on my podcast. So there we go. It's sort of the flywheel effect of all of the work and the content I was creating. And, like many of these things, you undertake something which perhaps you don't realize the enormity of the time commitment, but you certainly have an idea that it's going to be something important. But I felt compelled to do it because I was just really enjoying exploring the subject. And also, to do something like this, you have to believe that the world needs it. And, I certainly was getting lots of signals that people needed a book like this.
It's such an interesting development, isn't it? To do the newsletter, to get that feedback, to think, there's something here, there's something that's resonating with people. It gives you great confidence to go on and do the big work of the book. Yeah,
Exactly.
Brilliant. And give us one reason why this book matters post-COVID as well as during it.
I mean, I think it's a question of change. Right? So I think it would be difficult to argue that a huge amount has not changed. I mean, so much has changed since COVID, whether it's societal shifts and our attitudes towards work and where we work and when we work and how we work, and combine that with technological shifts as well. We're experiencing the AI revolution, if you like, or certainly it's become something that every single person in the world is aware of, and many people feel threatened by, or so feel a sense of fear about what it means to their future. And I think in those circumstances, taking control over your work and your life are really, really important. And I think, for me, the book it's not the formula for success. And I'm not saying here's a way that you can guarantee success for yourself. But what I want to give people is a lens through which to look at all of this change. Give people some inspiration that others have also tackled this challenge, this fear of change to an extent. And actually there's a process that you can go through. There's certain building blocks that you can put in place to make small pieces of progress. And obviously the flywheel metaphor is all about making small changes, putting things together to build up momentum. And that can take some time. I mean, I'm evidence of that. I would like to say that you write a book like this, it doesn't mean you've got it all worked out. You're still working out yourself. And I definitely feel like that about my own career. And actually I feel like that's something I've come to embrace rather than fear before. I think prior to this whole experience, I felt like I needed everything worked out. I needed a clear plan. And I actually don't feel like that anymore. I don't really have a clear plan. And actually, I think that's something to be embraced. And actually, it's almost a necessity in the world because there is no certainty. And I think that's when having a framework, a model by which to live and build a career is really important.
Yeah, brilliantly put. Thank you. And I might say on a personal note as well, the thing that really resonated with me right from the start when you introduced the concept to me was that idea that, you know, if we are stuck on the metaphor of the work-life balance thing, you know, one goes up, one goes down. It's actually quite a reductive metaphor. Without that idea about the flywheel work, they both support each other and they drive you on, and they're complementary, and yeah, all that good stuff. I think it's a metaphor for our times. So yeah, well done you. Really, really good. And I would love to know, Ollie, how did you react? Well, firstly, how did you find out that you were a finalist? And secondly, how did you react?
Well, I can't remember whether it was your social media or the awards, but it was effective in informing me that it was happening and that the announcement was happening. But yeah, this is a great representation of what my life's like and why I have felt the need to write a book as well about how to create a positive relationship between work and life. I was getting my kids ready for bed. I've got 3 kids, 3 young kids, bath time, you know, navigating all of that stuff. And I'd put it on in the background, and it was a classic example of this behavioral science idea called the cocktail party effect, where you're completely tuned out until you hear something relevant to you. And I heard my name in the distance, tuned in and saw it, and was of course surprised, probably as I was toweling down one of my kids, and you know, very excited about it. And look, you know,
I bet your kids were so impressed, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they think it's very, very cool that, you know, their daddy's done this. So, you know, it's nice. You know, it's nice to get some recognition, isn't it? Because it's really true. It's really difficult. You put a lot of work in, and of course, and actually, quite a bit of time's passed since it was published. You know, it's 18 months or so, and I spent a lot of time over the past 18 months talking about the book and the ideas in the book. But I've also been developing lots of new ideas and sort of returning to that. It's nice, actually. It's nice to go back to it, and of course, then it's something interesting to talk to people about, because anybody who's noticed it, it's, you know, people value, I think, the time and the thought that you put into things. And I think from my point of view, that's really, you know, my reaction to it's been just it's been a welcome return to exploring some of the ideas in the book.
Brilliant. I love that you were had it on the background in bath time.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first time we'll have heard that. I bet that's the last time we'll heard it. So again, Work Life Flywheel, fantastic book. And if you're intrigued, you can find it on Kindle for 99p, 99 cents. I'd buy the paperback myself, because then you can scribble all over it and break the spine and, you know, do all the things that you need to do. But anyway, we'll find out in September the winners of the various categories. Hopefully see you there, Ollie. I think we've got about 2.5 tables of practical inspiration authors, which is very, very cool. And thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thanks for having me.
Great to see you.
Cheers. Bye.